Hi guys, so in this video we talk about what's more difficult, bulking or cutting. Now I'm gonna say cutting is easier than bulking, simply because bulking done the correct way requires discipline and skill. So to bulk, basically all we're doing is we're establishing a slight calorie surplus. So with bulking it's a longer process because we're trying to basically add muscle. There's in the beginning a bit of trial and error, so we have to sort of get to sort of homeostasis where our body's like maintaining the same weight, the same sort of body fat percentage, and same kind of strength relatively, that kind of thing. Then we want to move, we work out what our calories are, and then we want to bump our calories. So we want to bump our calories by not a crazy amount, but probably about 300 calories. So this is where the skill comes in, because you have to understand, if you only add, say, a small amount on top of that, your body has got a range up or down where your metabolism will simply just either like speed up a little bit or slow down a bit, and you'll still stay the same kind of weight. So if I was to add, say, just 100 calories on top, it's not really going to happen because, there's the thermic effect of the food itself. So digestion is going to actually burn calories, believe it or not. The fact that my body's gonna have to work harder to burn those off. So yeah, simply when you're bulking, you want to add a bit more food, but you want to make sure that like you're constantly, keeping an eye on things, keeping an eye on how is your strength in the gym. Not only that, everything else has to be really. In the case of both bulking and cutting, everything else has to be on point. So sleep has to be optimal. The quality of the food you're eating has to be good, so you have to also make sure that you're hitting enough protein, and you're also hitting enough calories, but you're not completely just stuffing yourself. You have to listen to your body, okay? And the scale should be slowly going up, but very slowly. So not at some crazy fast rate. Okay, so it requires a lot more patience. The temptation is just to like have a target weight, rather than like a target strength gain or something constructive. Like for me, it's like, okay, I've just doubled or like, increased my weight percentage that I can lift for the same number of reps by like 40%, 30%, So I've actually probably gained some muscle there because I'm objectively stronger. I know. I know this, but a lot of people, they'll just go, I want to get to 80 kilograms. And they're like, let me eat. Mistake. I can eat my way to 80 kilograms in 3 weeks. All I need to do is just basically go crazy and just eat whatever I like. But to do it in a disciplined way, you have to track everything. And don't drink your calories if you're bulking. I wouldn't recommend it because they're not going to be that nutritious unless it's potentially some protein shakes at the end of the day to help you bolster up your protein. So it just requires more discipline, and there's less room for error because you don't want to put on too much body fat. So it requires more discipline, more keeping track of the food, more thinking about what I'm going to eat, more planning meals. Cutting, it's like for a shorter period of time. So yeah, that you can lose fat more quickly than you can gain muscle. So like all we're going to be doing is keeping everything the same, our protein high, our workouts the same, our sleep optimized, the quality of our food really good. It's just that we're going to be cutting down the calories a little bit. So we're going to be cutting down the calories by like, not too aggressively, but like, a couple of 100 calories in the opposite direction. So, and then we'll see how the body responds. And then there's so many tools we can use them when we're cutting. So we can use things like sugar-free drinks, we can just up our steps a bit more if we don't want to cut our calories too aggressively. The only difficult part of cutting is like when you get into that hangry state, you sometimes are a bit hard to be around and you like don't really want to kind of like chat to people and stuff. So you have to be super aware about that, and you have to be like as nice as possible to people around you. You have to be just, that takes practice, by the way. But other than that, I would say a disciplined lean bulk for a sustained period of like 6 months, and then there's the temptation to just snap out of the bulk the minute you see any kind of body fat, because like you work so hard on your physique, the minute you see like a little love handle come on there, you know, it's panic stations. You think, gosh, yo, what? Look what I saw today. You know, didn't like the look of that. So many people, they don't stay in the bulk long enough, and the result is they end up in this sort of yo-yo diet because they don't really put enough muscle on. So they end up just sort of like yo-yoing, repeating the process. But really, obviously, if you bulk, what happens is your metabolism will adapt. So eventually, you know, your maintenance calories as you add muscle is gonna go up. You know, so your weight itself is gonna go up, but that weight is gonna be made of favorable tissue, aka muscle. So you're gonna be able to eat more. But yeah, like I said in the beginning, I'd say the cut is the easier one of the two.